I think we can all say that at some point in our life we fell into the pattern of looking for validation from others, looking at the meaning behind what we do and how we might I think we can say that all of us at some point in life was searching for a certain amount of approval from someone else. And when not, yeah, it's cool. You found a way to live life on your own, on the things you are I'd say there are many people, including myself, who are actively or have been actively searching for approval from other people. And I'm happy to see that I got to a point where I'm not searching for approval no more, as I found a way to be in tune with who I am and with the things I do. And for sure, there are certain areas in life where we can say, okay, we need the validation, we need the feedback, we need someone else to show us and tell us how things are going, especially if you're doing something for someone else. But when it comes back to who you are and who you're trying to be, then I think it's so crucial to just get to yourself first and not be dependent on the validation from out there, the approval that someone gives you for being who you are. And the big problematic I see in all this is that whenever we try to approve what we do, we tend, or I easily tended to display someone who I am not actually. And I got to see that in a very big extent close around myself, in my family, with my mom, as we maybe think in today's age the approval from out there comes from how cool you look on your Instagram, how good you pose into the camera. That's approval from out there as well, and that's mostly the things we are struggling with when growing up in these times. But even other generations carried these problematics with them, as the comparison to other families, to other lifestyles, to other situations is also like an approval you're trying to get by imitating who you might be to look better for someone else. As you think this is the norm you gotta chase, as that is so good, as these norms are in such a balanced state that you just want to follow in that stream to not be in charge of anything that might not suit the other person's opinions and thought patterns. And there it all already starts, problem already starts by looking at something that might be in our best interest because it is for someone else. And why I think this is so dominant within so many different fields of life is because we have a certain standard in mind we want to chase, we want to follow, we have certain ways of living we want to pursue, but we are not always able to fully internalize and actually finding a way to be able to live this life. But the imitation and being true to ourselves doesn't stop there with the truth of the situation, where we just say, okay, I can't do it right now, I gotta adjust this and that, and maybe at some point I'm getting closer to who I am, because many people are not that reflected. They are not they don't have the self-awareness of knowing that they might not be in the position yet of someone who can actually chase something that big, something that is so far off from how they have been living all their lives. And so this determination to actually and even this braveness to tell yourself, I'm not there yet and it's totally fine, is way harder than just imitating or trying to be in that kind of position. And that is where something starts to happen that I always called you're masking yourself. You're applying a mask to your actual self that is not the true you. And the reasons behind that, they are so broad. The reasons why we do these things are in a very big spectrum, and it can be broken down to so many different areas. But I think it all starts with the confidence, the awareness, and the actual meaning behind something. When you know the meaning for something clearly, as you can define it for yourself, as you've broken it down and you've looked behind the curtains, and you can still say, okay, that is something I want in my life, then we can start to find a way maybe. But that's only the first part, because finding a meaning in something doesn't mean that you're able to live this way now. Make a big change that's so drastic that you might have to change your overall persona. So what comes then is this awareness of being open to change and being in a mind state where you actually perceive who you are, or start to, or wanting to understand how you're living and in which stage you're already in and how far you're still off from it. So when we have the meaning of something and the awareness of where we are, then it comes down to how much determination and perseverance we can come up along the way to actually be able to get to this point. But when the meaning is faded, as you just see someone else living like that, and it at first glance just looks like something you want as well in your life, and you skip the part of finding true meaning for yourself in that regard and go to the next thing about looking at someone's life and how good it might seem, and start to like also skip the part of the awareness you would need to come up with to actually understand which position you are, to also be able to maybe pursue that. As you skip the meaning, you'll also skip the part of the awareness, and then you're just open-handed in this whole situation and are not even aware of it. And I call this like, this is life's true stagnation of realization and reflection, as this is something that is a state in which I never want to get in first, and something that something that has to be worked for hard to wipe away again once it's already like developed quite deep in yourself. And so it's something big. It's nothing to joke around on, because you may also start to like tap into waters of trying to chase a life that seems so meaningful, and this whole like whale breaks down at some point because you see that it's not that great. Maybe you see someone else all of a sudden having a very bad experience in that seemingly great life they were living, and then you start to realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't have chased that, or something tragic is happening to you, and you start to redefine your meaning in all of this. But it doesn't always need to be something that has to happen out there for you to understand and realize something. It's not always that you need to get the punches of life to actually start making a change. And I've done that so wrong in the previous times as well. I was always going hard or nothing, and when I'm not getting wiped down to the ground, I knew that I wasn't ready yet. And after a certain amount of getting these hits and going home with scars, metaphorically, then I started to like think about how I might prevent all these things with an actual meaning I put into this, and a personal definition of things. And when coming back to this like validation from others, this kind of approval, when you search these things, who are you? Who are you in this whole positioning? And how much of you is actually just trying to get this approval from someone else because you are not sure about who you actually able or trying to represent on your own behalf, and someone else has to like approve this for you. And you see this, you measure by how far away from someone who you count on their opinion actually is, and it only seems like you can get a good opinion from them when you start to like morph into a way of being someone that can be approved by this person. as this person is living so good in that regard, and this thing they do is so great. But is it really that great? Is it really that important for you deep down in there? Because when it ain't, then there are ways around this validation. And I think the biggest and greatest way to not be dependent on like others' approval is to get the approval for yourself. Because when you start to actually see that you are also able to get back so many amazing feelings deep down there by doing things that matter to you, then you'll slowly but steadily distance yourself more and more from this external validation you might want to chase all the time, because you're just not too sure about who you are. And that is totally fine. It is totally fine, and you have time, but just don't waste it on someone else's opinion that might not matter to you and is only mattering to you at this moment because you think that it's something of value. What is behind their veil? Who are they? And it's not about exposing someone else. It's for your sake. You're not talking bad about someone. It's your thought. It's your conclusion of recognizing who someone actually is. And that is a skill that can be acquired by you by just getting deep down in yourself and in the whole perception of yours, and having this open eye for how other people are looking to you. How are they behaving? What is the thing that they want to convey? And it might not be easy to get into a conversation and have this analytical way of thinking right away. And this doesn't need to be, but slowly start to get into this by just holding on to the previously mentioned aspects. Your meaning, your awareness of who the other person is and who you are and where you are standing, and your confidence, your determination to come up with a solution, or when it's not there yet, it can be concluded in these previous stages as well, as the meaning is so much, I think, in having success in developing further and further. And just taking the example of being close to someone, talking with them, maybe being in a group where you don't have to actively involve all the time, and just being a bit more quiet sometimes and trying to see, trying to understand. I think only doing this, only opening up your ears, it sounds so easy, and it definitely isn't. I'm not telling you that this is easy, but just trying and having it in mind that there might be things you actually don't have to be so dependent on is a great skill. And it also is it's not distracting you anymore after that. After you got through these stages of defining your meaning of what you're doing, your awareness in how you're moving, and your determination to get further, you're completely in your own sphere. You're not being distracted by how is someone else living, how far are you still off from living like that? That doesn't matter then no more, because you found your own path. You paved the way for your future through the things that are meaningful to you, from your values, from your determination to get onto this track and not getting off it so soon, as it's something that's been deep down in you and it's telling you this is the right way to go. And so I think when you apply something, or just a few aspects of reducing the approval from outside, you can flip these times where you were searching for that into time that you can develop yourself. And I know that it's also a thing of having low confidence in oneself to search this validation, to find some approval from someone else. And this might be a big part, and is definitely not going to be covered here now, as this is another big topic. But I'm just giving you like small hints into directions that might suit you. And the confidence, as already covered shortly, can also be built by meaning and the definition of small successes you might have. And when it's only through perseverance, by being disciplined, doing small things, don't make it so hard for yourself. Do little things, show yourself you can do it. And all these small little things, they add up and make you feel better and make you feel more confident, for sure. But yeah, it's not easy, I know. And yeah, I still think it's doable, and you can do this. You can distance yourself further from that external approval that's not getting you something back. Don't be dependent on others. Go your own way, take your own lane. And yeah, it's just like that. I feel so good about just being who I am now, because I'm not wasting no more time. I'm not wasting no more time at looking at someone else's life and thinking how great it might be and how I might want to cover things and mask myself again to just seem like I'm living like that. And I'm still seeing how deep down these patterns are, then that even in myself I sometimes see that yeah, you might just want to like do certain things that look good, that give a shine of something. You don't wanna look too sassy and weird or whatever. Even though I just don't care at all, I would go out with whatever. But yes, still you sometimes just wanna be in the flow of a mass to not be seen as well. Even it's just my thing. I'm not like searching for someone looking at me or approving who I might be in a good or in a bad way, whatever their opinion might be. But yeah, it's just I just don't wanna I don't wanna care about these things. They just stack up in some way, and I don't get anything back. What am I getting back? It's not like that I've done these big thing, and yeah, there are people out there looking up on that person I'm representing, and then I'm showcasing who I am, and even then I would never try to be like that, because what is this? That's weird. That doesn't seem right for me, because well, why am I spending time on this? It's nonsense. This is wasted time, in my opinion. I could use for something that is greater than that. That is fulfilling for me, and not just a cover-up. So yeah, I want to get further with the things and projects I have in mind, and not waste that time. So I hope you can go on a journey with yourself of being more and more who you trying to be and who you truly want to be, and that you can like find a way that makes you one. So my dad is calling. I'm gonna pump up my tires on my bike, and he got a pump, so I'm getting to his place now. Perfect timing. I'll wish you best of luck with whatever you're doing. Here a short impression from where I am today, at the inn again. The river here is called Inn. So yeah, all the best. Bye bye.